Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. My name is Tia Brown, and I'm the Administrative Coordinator at the Temple SBDC. The Temple SBDCs help small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of our no-cost webinars and training programs like the one you're joining today. You're joining us for Understand and Communicate the Value of Your Business, presented by Google. We are recording today's session, and a follow-up email will be sent to all attendees within 2 to 3 business days with the training materials attached. All attendees have been muted. We encourage you to post any questions in the Q&A. Now I'll turn over the floor to Soleil.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you all this afternoon. It has been a great summer for me. I'm just fresh off of vacation, and we are getting our Google workshops in for August. So you all will see me not only today, but I will be with you all next week. I believe on, I think it's a Wednesday and Thursday, launch your customer focused marketing. So if you're looking for marketing, make sure that you go over to Temple's website and register for next week's workshops as well, so you can get all of that good knowledge soaked up for you to take your business to the next level. So again, we are going to be talking about understanding and communicating the value of your business. This month is our marketing focus. We want you to feel confident as a business owner to be able to talk about your brand and your business in a way that can generate engagement and meaningful connections with not only potential clients and customers, but also funders and investors that might be interested in your business. So let's go ahead and jump in. I will introduce myself. My name is Soleil Meade. I am your Pennsylvania Grow with Google digital coach. I am also the owner of Soleil Branding Essentials, which is a full-service branding agency. We do everything from brand strategy, graphic and web design, marketing, you name it. That's what we love to do on a regular basis. And being in this role as your digital coach really helps me to connect with business owners in a way that is meaningful and helps them to just really grow their business. I am blessed to be accompanied by my Google bestie, Vicky Sepulveda. She is the Texas Grow with Google digital coach. So we come in each other's workshops and support one another. So she will be here to support you all today as we navigate through today's workshop. She is the owner and CEO of Crossing Bridges Consulting. Vicky has been a part of the digital coaches program since its inception, but she has been in the small business game for several years. International speaker, small business owner herself. So anything you need, Vicky and I are here for you. Many of you from our calls have reached out to me via email. I'm still trying to catch up on my emails from being on vacation, so bear with me, but we really are here for you. We are proud to come from the Digital Coaches Program, which is equipped with coaches all over the nation that are really here to help small business owners grow their business, to scale their business, to thrive in the digital age that we live in. So any questions you have, we're here for you. As you have questions throughout today's workshop, feel free to drop them in the chat. There's also a Q&A area that's open for you to drop information in there as well. We will be using the chat a lot today. So in the chat, feel free to engage and communicate with your fellow colleagues and with us. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started with the actual content for today. You all can continue to introduce yourselves in the chat to one another. I love learning and following and connecting with new businesses. So definitely network and go ahead and put your information in the chat.
So we've got a question from someone that's trying to log in on their phone. I'm not sure if somebody from Temple SBDC can assist them.
Okay, I see that. That's Joanne.
Yes.
I'm sure the Temple
Sorry for the interruption.
May give you any information that you may need to try to connect your audio.
Yes, give us, we'll try to assist you with connecting and send out the information so you can join.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And this session is being recorded. So if you miss any part of it, if it's so good that you need to go back and take some nuggets, then you will be able to access this recording once it's sent to you from the Temple team, as well as their YouTube channel, which I highly recommend you take some time and spend there. It is a wealth of information from speakers that Temple SBDC has on various topics that you can watch at your own leisure. So I want to just begin talking about Women Will. So this particular workshop that we're doing today is focused on this Women Will program. The information and content is good for everyone, but it is particularly geared towards women. I do want to ask a question in the chat. And Vicki, this is not on my notes, so if you can roll with me on this. I'm very curious, like, how many women do we have on today's call? There's about 50 of us in the room. Let me know if you are a woman. If you're a woman, drop an explanation point in the chat and let me know. Awesome. So we have a lot of women in the building. And if you are a man, we welcome you. And we know that you're going to benefit from this information as well. So I am really glad to see that there are a lot of women in the room. So I'll make sure that I kind of tap into some of these slides that give some additional context to some of the challenges that we face as women, small business owners. So this Women Will program is a Grow with Google initiative that was started to focus on economic empowerment for women across the world. So, we have issues that happen in the entrepreneurial world, such as, the gender pay gap that exists, where women receive less money than their male counterparts, unconscious bias that happens in the workplace that, we have to deal with, different challenges that men don't have to deal with, balancing their professional life and their personal life. They like to call it the double burden. That is the term that's used to describe the workload of people who work to earn money, but they're also responsible for significant amounts of unpaid domestic labor, such as childcare, household chores, and things of that nature. So women carry that double burden. And then the constant media message that enforces these stereotypes that women are valued just based off of their beauty, and it often overshadows the skill sets and the capability and the power that women often possess. So this Women Will program is super powerful. It's like a 2-part workshop. And I want to say they mentioned bringing in another workshop. Vicki, am I right? I thought I heard that at a call, but it's so powerful to give us this space and this stage. So we are going to address some of these things. And then we also are going to talk about the importance of understanding and communicating the value of your business. So one of the first things that I want to do is, I love this particular series because there's an entrepreneur workbook that's connected to it. So Vicki actually just dropped the link in the chat. And it is my prayer to God that whenever you all click on this, you are going to be able to open it up. What you want to do is, once you open it, you want to go to File and click on Make a Copy of it. So then that way a copy of it will live on your personal Google Drive. So we are going to follow along in this entrepreneurial workbook for today's workshop. And then the second part of the workshop we won't cover, but I encourage you to still follow the prompts and get in there. So in this particular session, we are going to talk about the entrepreneurial landscape, as well as the importance of communicating and you personally understanding the value of your business. So let's go ahead and start with talking about the entrepreneurial landscape. We want to get a better understanding of what this landscape looks like for women, so we can dive deeper in some of the ways that we can overcome some of these common challenges that we face. So whenever we talk about understanding the intention that you have for this program, I want you to think about, what has your experience to date been as a woman entrepreneur? What are your goals as a woman entrepreneur? And what do you want to gain from this program? So in asking those 3 questions, if anybody wants to drop their intentions in the chat, I would love to hear it. And I'm glad to see some of you all are already downloading the link. If you are watching a replay of this, that information will also be given to the Temple SBDC team so it can be shared so you can follow along as you watch the replay as well. But if you would want to share your intentions, there's actually a page in your workbook that's asking you that. Take a moment to think about, I mean, right now we are less than halfway through the year. You know, we still have just a couple months until 2023 ends. What are some of the goals that you have? And how would you want to better your experience as being a woman entrepreneur as well? Somebody said their goal is to do what they love and they want to gain more knowledge because knowledge is power. That is powerful. Someone else plans on having 10,000 units in the next 5 years. I love that SMART goal. It is specific, it is measurable, and it is attainable. I love it. So yes, keep it coming. I want you all to continue to keep your goals and what you want to see and your intentions in mind. And we're going to start with the world that we live in as women entrepreneurs. So let's take a look at this chart that we have here. You probably won't be surprised to see that women aren't being funded equally, and this has a big limiting impact to our growth and success. I personally feel like we have been, pretty much making the ceilings that have been set to us our new floors. Over the last decade, women have been thriving, but we do want to sit with this information that we have. This is information up to 2017. So this report came from TechCrunch in 2018. So when you look at it, you can see the difference between seed investments in female founded startups and then venture investments. Seed investments, you can see have a little bit more range than those venture investments. But as a part of this study, there were 54K global companies with founders that had initial funding between 2009 and 2017. And out of that 54K global companies, only 16% of them had one female founder. And then the percentage increased just 8% from 2009 to 2012. So the statistics are the statistics. And I want you to just kind of take this in and just absorb. Sometimes we feel like we're thriving because our business is doing well, but we are also a part of a bigger picture. Even for the men that are on the call, a lot of the workshops and the work that the Digital Coaches Program does is for Black, Brown, and Indigenous and small town, small businesses. So we're a part of a whole, and sometimes absorbing those statistics to understand what we are experiencing as a whole is really important. So here we have that despite being severely underfunded, you see that female founders actually outperform male founders in terms of revenue. That says a lot about the power of a woman. Regardless of what little we are given, we are able to really excel and exceed, but the reality is women, we are facing issues with getting funding. It's one of the top challenges that a lot of small business owners and women have, and female entrepreneurs receive just a tiny fraction of all venture capital funds. And most female entrepreneurs borrow from their friends and family or seek smaller investments from angel funds, or they self-fund their work in order to make their business work. So I'm very, very curious, have any of you self-funded your business? If you've self-funded any part of your business, let me know in the chat. Give me an explanation point in the chat if you have self-funded or got money from family and friends. I do love to say that as time has went on, I have been given access to a lot of great funding resources for small businesses, and I usually share them out monthly on my newsletter, because although we may be underfunded, there's still a lot out there. And part of the problem is also just getting the information out there so people know that it's available for them. So we have a lot of people saying that they did a lot of self-funding. I did. When I started my business, I had very low overhead, but it was literally something that I had to do in order to make the business work. I just told another woman entrepreneur the other day, like, you will be waiting forever to start your business if you're waiting for funding to happen for your business. If you have all the tools and resources to do it now, why not? And I think that's one of the reasons why we may outperform our male counterparts, because that mindset is fueled by motivation and drive to get it done. So I want to talk a little bit about unconscious bias and how it plays such an important role. And I want to talk about the four areas of gender biases. So one is a likability bias. So when we're looking at this, we are really looking at that unspoken expectation for women to remain likable. I mean, the moment that you have to address something in a more stern manner, the moment that you might have to write a colleague up or give a verbal warning, likability bias comes in, and now your job or your role is threatened because we are supposed to remain likable. That is a gender bias that exists within our culture and society. We also have the performance evaluation bias. So this is looking at the fact that women are typically hired and promoted based on what they have already accomplished, while men are hired and promoted based off of their potential. Well, I want to be hired and promoted based off of my potential. I can reach higher heights, but there's this burden of proof that we have to kind of overcome in order to be compensated for what we bring to the table, or hired based off of what we can bring to the table. This one is a big one, and I really want you all to start thinking. If you've experienced any of these gender biases, Vicky actually dropped the prompt in the chat. Let me know. Give me a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. And if you have, which ones have you experienced, and how did you navigate around them? Another one is maternal bias. So we have these motherhood triggers, the assumption that women are less committed to their careers, which equal them being held to a higher standard and presented with fewer opportunities because they are mothers, because they are caring for their homes. And I know a lot of mothers that have shown that they can show up 1,000% at their job and still do their best as a mom. But unfortunately, these unconscious biases, they linger around, and they sometimes hover over our ability to excel. Last but not least, we talk about performance attribution bias. So this is the point where we are looking at the fact that women are more likely to receive less credit and give themselves less credit. That results in this lack of confidence within them. And then they don't want to negotiate their salary or put forth for promotions. Really, all in all, we're too hard on ourselves. And that bias exists, and it's able to kind of, unfortunately, still steer some of the decisions that are made in business and promotion and things of that. So I love that some of you all have shared the gender biases that you have experienced. I see someone said that there's also a lot of biases for veterans. And, you know, that's so true. We could probably have a whole nother workshop on, you know, the digital coaches program is very, and Grow with Google is very intentional about advocating and acknowledging some of the challenges that women face, that Black and Brown and Indigenous businesses face, LGBTQIA businesses face, veterans, you know, And the reality of it is a lot of us are living with something that is creating some type of bias. That's why the purpose of this workshop is to encourage you. Like, we're going to call it out. We're not going to act like it doesn't exist, but to give you some tools on how you can show up better for your business and actually prove the bias is wrong. And that's what we need to do. So I want to take a look at this example, and I love this story. I'm going to read you all this story about Lucy. So she's the co-founder of Airwallex and the 2018 winner of Female Entrepreneur of the Year in FinTech. She's 26 years old, and she was featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. In addition to receiving challenges as a female, her age bias, which is another real thing, has also created additional barriers for her, especially in the Asian market, where you have young women that traditionally tend to play more of a supporting versus a leading role. It became very challenging for her to create leadership authority for young female entrepreneurs. So in some ways, Lucy has been able to overcome the bias due to her age and her gender by establishing authority from the very beginning, not being afraid to talk about or showcase her credentials, and not being afraid to address the elephant in the room. So she might say something like, some people have concerns with how young I am, but I am one of the most experienced in my field amongst my team. I've worked on X, Y, and Z projects, and I am the most qualified to lead the business. So here we have, Lucy is addressing some of that performance attribution bias that exists. She's not allowing the biases that are around her and that she's experiencing to have an effect on her confidence, have an effect on the facts. And the facts is that she has the most experience and she's worked on these projects. So this is leading us into just thinking about how we can better equip ourselves to not only understand our power, but to communicate the value that we have in our businesses. So Vicky, is there anything that I missed in the chat that we should talk about?
There is a comment. I don't know if you want to address it though. It's at 11:20.
Okay. I won't. If we have time at the end, I will. Okay. Because I do want to get into the depth of this whole workshop, which is understanding and communicating the value of your business, which is information that is going to be palatable for everyone that is here. But again, this particular workshop is in our Women Will program, and we are unapologetic about addressing the challenges that women face. And we know that biases and gender, race, religion, all of those biases all have influence on how we function in the spaces that we function in. But this particular one is for the empowerment of women. But again, everyone will walk away with some tips and some tools for you to think about to help to grow your business and to communicate the value that you bring to the table, despite what biases that you may face. So the impact of these biases cannot be ignored. We want to make sure that we point out the fact that it has been estimated that women contribute in excess of $20 trillion in consumer spending every year, it representing a bigger growth market than China and India combined. And women also account for 85% of consumer purchases. So when we're talking to small businesses, women-owned small businesses, we're also looking at the fact that a lot of the spending dollars are coming from people who are us. So that's something that you want to keep in mind as you're navigating your business. So let's go ahead and jump into the heart of the content today, which is going to give you those tools and tips to be able to communicate your business to not only customers, but investors, to allow you to get the funding that you need and have the conversations that you need to about your business in confidence. So let's start with that. We want to start with how important it is for you to communicate the value of your business with confidence. Believe it or not, whether you realize it or not, we are constantly showcasing the value of what we do and what we offer to our potential customers, partners, and investors. In a very simple conversation where someone is just asking you, well, what do you do? And how is that impactful? That is a moment in which we are communicating and should be with confidence the value of our business and the value that we bring to anyone who partakes in the services or the products that we provide. So I want to give you all 6 quick tips on how to communicate with increased confidence. So the first one is be prepared. So one of the things that you want to do is practice communicating with confidence. Don't be caught off guard. There are people that are shy. There's people that are outspoken. But whenever you really sit down and prepare yourself to say, these are the highlights that my business has done in its past 3 years since it has been open. These are the awards that we have received for the work that we've done. This is feedback that we consistently get from customers that let us know that we're set apart from other businesses. You can prepare those things in advance. So whenever that time comes for you to communicate, you know what to say. You also want to be clear and specific about your business. When you're vague or non-committal, it could come over as if you don't have everything together for your business or you lack confidence. So you want to be specific and clear in your answers and your statements that you provide. And if you're negotiating something, like if you're negotiating a contract or proposal, you want to make sure you know your bottom line and all your details before you even enter into negotiation. Never be afraid to ask for time to prepare if you need to, so you can be clear and specific as possible. And that leads me into number 3. Don't be afraid to slow down or even pause. Sometimes when we're in a space and we're speaking and we stumble over words or we lose a thought, we panic. But one of the things that can be helpful is commanding control of your space, even if you stumble over a word, even if you are losing a thought. It's okay to pause and say, you know what? Give me 1 minute. I was headed down a path and I just need a minute to like recalibrate my thoughts. Now you are inviting that person that you're engaging with into your space and helping them to understand where you are right now. Or you can say, you know what, let me slow down. I often have to say that a lot. Let me slow down and back it up so I can make sure I don't miss anything important. So don't be afraid to do that. There is power in your silence and there is power in your pause because it shows that you want to be intentional about what you are going to say next. Try to eliminate filler phrases. That is one of the hardest things to do. We love to say like things that kind of fill the space when we're trying to figure out what to say next. It is a practice that you have to have in order to realize, number one, that you are saying the filler phrases and then trying to redirect so you don't use them as often. And then last but not least, I want you to be aware of your body language. So if you're a person like me, I talk with my hands a lot. So because I talk with my hands a lot, I try to usually make sure that if I'm in a space communicating with someone, I'm giving them space, because if they're too close to me and I'm talking with my hands, that can make them uncomfortable. You also want to think about body language that sometimes can be perceived as being distant or shut off. Like if you cross your arms whenever you are, talking, or even just having your presence in a space. If your posture is with your arms crossed and you're kind of leaned over, you might be in observation mode and that's nothing but that to you, but it might be perceived as someone who's disconnected. So be aware of that. And again, when you follow these, I'm sorry, it's 5 tips, not 6. When you follow these 5 tips, it really helps you to make sure that you can show up with confidence. And granted, every time you get into a space, you might not be able to touch on all 5 of them, but you'll be able to to get through. All right, so the next one that we are going to talk about is creating your pitch. So Vicky's going to drop a prompt in the chat, and I'm very curious, who has established a pitch for their business? Give me a 1 for yes, 2 for no, or 3, not yet, but you plan to do so. All right, wonderful. And I know Temple does some amazing work with pitch competitions and things like that. Give me 1 moment. I want to respond. All right. Does anyone feel confident to deliver their pitch? Quick pitch? All right. Well, we're going to keep going and talk about the importance of pitches, because again, when we are talking about understanding and communication of the value of our business and our brand, your pitch is important. Sometimes people get overwhelmed or nervous when they hear the word pitch. But if you think of pitch as you talking about your business, what you're passionate about, what you love to do every day, what you have put your hard work and sweat and tears and time into, then it should put you at ease, because there is nobody else that can talk about your business the way that you can talk about it. You are an expert for your business. So when you hear the word pitch, try not to clam up, but maybe just think about your why and your purpose and allow that to help guide you. So we've definitely seen some pitfalls that exist for women when they are pitching their business, funding, or partnerships. And when we think about those challenges that we might face, any of us could face whenever we think about delivering our pitch, we want to make sure that you get this essence of what a pitch should cover. So you want to describe what you focus on doing. So, and this is more so a pitch if you are, say, pitching to an investor or a partner. So you want to focus on like what you're doing, who your typical client is and the problem that they face, and how you can resolve this issue or this problem for that client, and the benefits of working with you, as well as bridge to the discovery step with a question. So whenever you are kind of in this space, you want to make sure that you are helping that other person understand why they should even care about what you're saying, how you can help them, like how you can help them go to the next level, how you can help them win. And then you also want to look at what exactly you want from them. So whenever you are engaging in pitching to someone, you never want to present your business or your idea very cleanly and smoothly, but then you don't have a call to action at the end. So you definitely want to make sure that you have those elements whenever you are thinking about pitching. So I want to actually take a moment and talk about the different types of pitching that you might do. So some of us might be at networking events and you might do a general pitch for your business. That is fine. You should practice that. You should know that, how you want to engage someone or introduce the business that you do. But we set the tone early on in this workshop that we absolutely have some issues when it comes to receiving funding, especially for women in business. So we want to talk to you about these different types of pitch. So you can have a sales pitch, and you also could have investment pitches as well. So whenever you're looking at a sales pitch, you might be discussing the very positioning and of your business, and then tailoring it to the different clients that you have and the needs that they have. You also would focus on your services and the problem that you solve in providing your service or your product, and make sure that you're very clear and specific about the pain points that your clients have and how you respond to them. You not only want to talk about the benefits of your product, you also want to talk about the value that your brand and your business brings. What makes you so different than the next business? And those will help make up your sales pitch and make sure that you cover all of the bases to ensure that that person understands why they need you, to make you show up as an expert, meaning that you know this industry, you know your clients, you know their pain points, and you know how to present a product or a service to them that answers their question. Then you have the investment pitch. So whenever you are looking at an investment pitch, you might be talking to a potential funder or an investor at a networking event. So here, what you want to do is tailor that message to your investor audience. Why would they want to invest in you? What have you done to date that has made impact and influence on the industry that you're in? You want to talk about the market and how the market has changed and how your business has shifted through the market. You also want to address the services that are needed within your market and which services that you provide. What you also want to do is focus less on the benefits of the product, and you want to focus more on how their investment will benefit them as an investor and benefit the industry overall. Because 9 times out of 10, that investor has interest and commitment to the industry or to a particular people that you all both serve. So you want to focus on that a little more. Last but not least, when you're looking at investment pitching, you want to look at how you will actually drive home change for them. You want them to know that if you invest in my business, then this is what we are going to experience on the other side of this. So you want to make sure that you really amp up who and what you have to help you carry you to the win. So those are the different types of pitches that we will find ourselves in, and it'll help you when you follow these steps. It'll help you to be equipped. So let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to pitching yourself and your business. So first of all, you do want to make sure you establish your authority and your credibility up front. We really only have a limited amount of time to really capture someone's attention. So you don't want to spend a ton of time talking about your accolades and what you've achieved and what you've done. But again, you want to establish authority and credibility up front. Say what is most powerful about what you've achieved and what you've done in your passion in a sentence or two, and then keep it moving. You also want to focus on the opportunity and potential. Whenever you're engaging with someone or pitching to someone, you want them to feel like they are a part of what you're explaining. So whenever you focus on their opportunity and the potential for them to be a part of this greatness that's happening, then you are right on target. You also want to inspire with your vision. That's why in the beginning, when we started talking about pitching, I wanted to kind of put you all at ease, because you are the expert of your business and your brand. You are the visionary. There is something very special about your why and your purpose in doing what you do. And don't be afraid to share that. You will find that many investors, partners, even potential clients, they want something to connect in. They want to trust a brand or a business that has similar values and vision like they do. So don't be afraid to share a few lines in your pitch about why you are inspired to do what you do. You do want to focus on the size of the opportunity. One of the things that we love to talk about is what will happen if you don't come over to our company? What will happen if you don't work with us? Think about the size and the impact. It doesn't have to be money. When we say size of opportunity, don't equate opportunity to money. You can talk about, the impact and the influence that working together would cause for that person. You want to be ready with the technical and the commercial details. So make sure you have your stats ready to report any important data, insights, and statistics that would line up with what you're pitching about. And you want to tell a compelling and authentic story. Nobody wants to hear someone who seems like they're reading from a paper what's going on. You want to actually make sure that you tell a compelling and authentic story that showcases who you are and why you do what you do. So with all of the do's, we also have a couple of don'ts. So you don't want to spend too much time legitimizing yourself. I kind of already said that. Put your key credibility points in there and keep it moving. The good thing is that if you deliver a good pitch, and once you put your business card or you connect with that person in hand, if they like what you said, they're going to Google you and they're going to find out the accolades and the achievements and things that you have done. So don't spend all of that time in which you need to make the impact on running your list of credibility. Don't spend too much time on the details as well. So for instance, if you are pitching to someone and you're talking about your business and your consulting business, and you start to talk about all of the different clients and things you've helped them with, that might be too overpowering. But if you are able to put that in concise words and say that through our several years of business, we've had multiple clients who have reported, when they began the process of consulting, that they felt lost. They were ranking in as a 1, but by the end of our work with them, everyone is at either a 4 and a 5, feeling more confident than when they first came in. Those are the details that you want to give. That gives them a high level overview of the impact that you're giving versus all of the details. And I'm one of those women that love the details, but I have to train myself to keep some of them out so the key messages are coming across. You do not have to prove that you deserve to be there. You're there because you deserve to be there. We won't feed into that bias that exists that says that, we have that burden of proof, that double burden. Don't do that. Don't underestimate or overestimate your market and your opportunity. So I feel like with that one, you just need to know what you are presenting and pitching about and not get in your head about it. Sometimes we get presented with opportunities that are literally mind-blowing to us. And because it's mind-blowing to us, imposter syndrome sets in. Never underestimate or overestimate. Just make sure you're prepared with the skill set that you have so you can, again, communicate the value of your business. Don't underestimate the size of your opportunity or your potential. So don't shoot too low. Make sure you do your research if you can. And don't put yourself in a box. Sometimes if you are pitching to maybe an investor and in your mind, you only wanted to make sure that you secured X amount of potential funders before you left at X amount of dollars, then you will pitch whatever your baseline is. Don't do that to yourself. Present your business and your value and the opportunity that exists with you and your benefits and the potential of that partnership in a way that leaves the door open, that the size of your the donation that they make is well beyond what you thought of. So don't put yourself in a box and don't be too conservative. Be yourself. And let people see the essence of who you are. So we cover a lot about pitching. So I'm going to pause to see, number one, which type of pitch will you create for your business? Number one, put a 1 in if it's a sell pitch, a 2 for an investment, or a 3 for both of them. So let me know, but also let me know if you have any questions about pitching. I know a lot of you said you had a pitch already. I think this is a good point for us to prepare ourselves for different types of pitches. So I have my general elevator pitch, right? But then I also want a sales pitch. I want to pitch for potential employees and team members. I want to pitch for investors, for sponsors for my events that I do. And we prepare ourselves whenever we create pitches for the different types of arenas that we might step into. All right, so I want to kind of change gears a little bit and talk about resilience. Resilience is a quality that is needed for any entrepreneur, because having the courage to start your own business, as well as to keep the doors of that business open and to maintain good customer service and to maintain good quality products and services, you need resilience, because there are times where it is absolutely hard. Studies have found that there's a clear linkage between entrepreneurs who demonstrate resilience as a key trait and those who achieve long-term success. So if you are equipped with resilience, then it may equal out to the success in a long-term viewpoint for you and your business. So I want to talk a little bit about the dimensions of resilience, and psychologists have broken them down into 3 dimensions. So the first is hardiness. It is the ability to sustain your performance under pressure and continue to face the obstacles that are in front of you. That's a big one. How many of you have dealt with hardiness? Like literally, life is lifing, as people would say, and the pressure is on for you to perform. And then here we have all of these obstacles coming, and yet still you are able to maintain your performance for your business regardless of what is happening. Hardiness. Second is resourcefulness. So this is your ability to find solutions in challenging and changing and uncertain situations. That to me is a gift. Resourcefulness. And lastly is optimism, which is your ability to still see the positive, to still see the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what circumstances are presented to you. And not only do you see the light at the end of the tunnel, but once you reach that light, or even on your journey to it, you are writing down and picking up key lessons that will help you to better navigate any future challenges that will come. When we look at resilience broken down like this, I want to know who in this room feels like they are resilient and they have showcased resiliency on their entrepreneurial journey. If anybody has a story of how resilience has showed up in your business, please feel free to share it in the chat. You never know how your story will impact someone else. I also just want to really encourage you all to continue to be resilient and to grow on these. I love the way that this slide breaks down resiliency, because maybe you have hardiness and resourcefulness, but you're not always optimistic. And it gives us some tools on how to grow those areas of resiliency that may be weak in our entrepreneurial journey, so it can be even stronger as we move forward, because it's so important for us to maintain and to scale our businesses. So another part is knowing your why. And I talked about that several times, because whenever you are looking at understanding and communicating the value of your business, I personally feel like your why and the purpose of what you do is at the core foundation of it. Everything else is built off of that. I would love for you all to share your why in the chat. I would love to hear it. So when you think about your why, you can include anything from the impact that you want to make, to the reason why you started your business, to the lifestyle that you want to create for yourself or for your customers or even for your legacy. But it is very important that you have a clear understanding of what your why is. As small business owners, it is very impactful whenever we're able to have dialogue with people about our business and they can understand that there's a bigger picture to what you're doing. And that is important. It's sometimes the very thing that turns that person from I might be interested to this is the person for me. So never be afraid to share your why. Never be afraid to talk about what you're working towards and what your future vision is. So if anyone wants to share their why, definitely put it in the chat. But again, follow along in your workbook and put that information in there as well. If you find yourself struggling to frame your why, I want you to ask yourself, well, what made you start your business in the first place? And what motivates you to keep your business going in those times when resiliency is knocking on the door for you to put your cape on? What keeps you going about it? And then that can just help you uncover your why. You also can ask the people who are close to you and around you, like, what do they feel the purpose of your business is? Or how have they viewed you as you have been on your entrepreneurial journey? You will be completely shocked, likely, to hear how other people view you in their eyes when it comes to you being the small business owner and CEO that you are. Sometimes we need those reminders, and they help to continue to fuel us for what's next. Deanna said that her why is to empower individuals with skills to manage anxiety and stress without the use of a device, app, gadget, or pill. I love that. I love that. And me reading your why sends my mind immediately to say, well, I wonder what got her here. There's probably some story that, or some experience that she's lived out that has made her want to start this business that is committed to helping people honestly relieve stress in a natural way and not with everything that we've been presented with. So again, like, your why it triggers someone to want to learn more, to want to hear your story more. So never be afraid to share it. So we are moving into wrapping up. I do see that someone said they missed the workbook. So Vicki, if you could drop the link for the workbook in again, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up, and then I can go to the chat and answer any questions that you all may have. So just to review what we covered today, we talked about the importance of communicating with confidence, especially whenever you're pitching yourself or your business. We also talked about resilience, and it is one of the entrepreneur's greatest qualities. And we talked about the 3 parts of resilience: hardiness, resourcefulness, and optimism. And then lastly, we talked about your why and how your why can help you stay on track. And it can also help to draw that person that you are pitching to feel connected to your business. So I'm very curious, out of these 3 that we talked about, which ones will you work on after today's workshop? Will you work on your pitch? Will you work on developing resilience, building confidence, your why, all of it? Vicki's going to drop something in the chat. Yep, Felicia said all of it. And that's awesome. I think that this type of work is the work that we always can do. My therapist will often tell me to do an annual review of myself. And I feel like this workshop is one of those ones where it positions us to do that annual review. How are we showing up? Are we showing up with confidence? Are we communicating well about what we can do, the power that we have and the impact that we've made or why, we always need these refreshers. Next week, when we get into the workshops, it will be more technical. So where you'll learn actual marketing tools and skills that's going to help you to better focus on your customers so you can tell them a story about your brand. So I love this slide. We're asking you to finish the statement. So you can do it in the chat. Women will, and I will. So we learned today, for me, women will speak up, and I will continue to speak up. So what's yours today? You can drop it in the chat or make sure you write it in your workbook. As you're in your workbook, you also you'll see this page, so you can put some action items down. And I'm very curious, like, what action items do you want to take after today? I know a lot of you all are answering the prompt about completing the workbook. So that's an action item, but if there's anything else that you want to work on after being a part of today's workshop, I invite you to drop that in the chat and let us know. You will get the replay, I believe, will be emailed to you along with the workbook. And also, Temple SBDC has the most amazing YouTube channel, and they post all of their workshops on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to access the replay in that way as well. And that concludes my workshop for today. I really enjoyed presenting with you all. I wanted to make sure I got everything in there for you all. So I didn't pause too much, but I honestly cannot wait to go back and read some of you all's responses to your why and pitching and what you do. So thank you all so much for sharing. And if anyone has any questions, you can ask them now. If not, I'm going to turn it back over to my amazing Temple SBDC family to make sure they close us out and give you all any additional information that you need.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. A follow-up email will be sent to all attendees with the materials from the webinar, as well as a survey link to take the survey. It's a quick survey. It is required by our funders, the SBA, as we do value your feedback, so we can continue to present more webinars in the future like this one. Thank you, Soleil and Vicki, for presenting today, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. See you all next week.